All right, let's get right into it. What if I told you that the smartest, most powerful retirement move you can make is the one you do in complete secret? Yeah, I'm talking before the going away party, before the cake in the break room, before anyone even has a clue you're about to hang it up for good. It sounds a little weird, I know, but we're about to break down why the quiet work you do beforehand is what actually sets you up for an amazing next 30 years.
Welcome back, deep divers. And look, that question on the screen, it's not a joke. Today, we're unpacking a concept called stealth retirement. Now, this isn't about being a hermit. It's about being incredibly strategic. It's about building the financial engine of your retirement before the social engine roars to life and, just kind of drowns out all the really important stuff.
So here's the deal. The second you announce you're retired, your life changes. Your calendar explodes, people want to plan trips, dinners, you name it. And all of a sudden, you're making spending decisions left and right. Stealth retirement is all about carving out that critical window of time to make the big, boring, but absolutely essential structural decisions with a clear head, free from all that social pressure.
Okay, let's kick things off with the money. For decades, your job was simple, right? Shovel as much cash as possible into your retirement accounts. But the minute you retire, that entire game flips on its head. Now, it's not about putting money in, it's about pulling money out with, surgical precision. And that's where our first batch of upgrades comes in.
We're going to hit 3 upgrades that are really the beating heart of your financial plan, exactly how you take your money out, how you're going to pay for healthcare, and how you plan to manage taxes for the rest of your life.
While you were working, you just saved. That's it. Now, the million-dollar question is, which account do you pull from first? Most people just default to their big traditional IRA because, hey, it's the biggest pot of money. That is a huge mistake. Every single dollar you pull from that account creates taxable income, and that sets a really expensive tone for the next 30 years. Your first upgrade is to have a deliberate plan before you spend even one dime.
Now here's where it gets really interesting, because upgrade number 1 directly smacks into upgrade number 2. If you're retiring before you turn 65, you're probably going to be on the ACA marketplace for health insurance, and the subsidies you get, the discounts, are based entirely on your income. A sloppy withdrawal plan could mean you're paying full price, while a smart one can literally save you tens of thousands of dollars before Medicare even enters the picture.
And this just perfectly captures the new reality, doesn't it? Tax planning when you were working was, a once-a-year headache. In retirement, it is a decades-long chess match. Decisions you make in year 1 about Roth conversions or harvesting capital gains or managing Medicare surcharges, they create ripples for your entire retirement. You absolutely have to upgrade your thinking to a lifetime tax model before you start, not after you file that first retired tax return and get a very painful lesson.
All right, let's keep building on this. We've designed the money engine. Awesome. Now we have to protect it. We have to bulletproof the plan against life's inevitable curveballs and all those dusty old documents you haven't looked at in years.
So the next 3 upgrades are basically your legal and insurance armor. We're talking making sure your money goes to the right people, that your wishes are actually legally binding, and that you're protected from the right kinds of risks.
And I'm not kidding about this one. This is so critical. Most of us fill out those beneficiary forms on day 1 of a new job, and then we never look at them again for 20 years. But here's the terrifying part. That little form overrides your will. An old, forgotten designation can accidentally send your entire life savings to an ex-spouse or create a monster tax bill for your kids.
And that really is the bottom line. Of all the upgrades we're talking about today, this is probably the easiest one with the biggest potential impact. It costs you nothing, it takes maybe half an hour, and it can prevent just absolute chaos and heartache for the people you love most. Seriously, do it yesterday.
Think about your will, your power of attorney, your healthcare directive. These are not set-it-and-forget-it documents. They were probably written back when your kids were toddlers and your financial situation was completely different. They have to reflect your reality now, so that if something happens, the people you trust have clear, legal authority to do what you actually want them to do.
The insurance that made perfect sense when you were working is probably all wrong for retirement. Disability insurance? You don't need it anymore. A huge life insurance policy? Maybe not if your spouse is financially secure. You can cut those premiums and redirect that cash to what actually matters now. Things like umbrella liability coverage to protect your nest egg from a lawsuit, or planning for long-term care. It's all about right-sizing your protection for this new chapter.
So, we've designed the engine, we've built the armor. Now it's time for a good old-fashioned reality check. This section is all about dragging your plan out of the world of online calculators and wishful thinking and grounding it in hard, real-world numbers.
These next 3 upgrades are what anchor your entire retirement to the ground. We're talking about how much cash you really need on hand, what you actually spend every month, and how to play the long game with Social Security.
Let's talk upgrade number 7, cash. When you were working, a 3 to 6 month emergency fund was fine because you always had another paycheck coming. But in retirement, you need more cushion. Think more like 6 to 12 months. This isn't just for a leaky roof. It's to make sure you never have to sell your investments when the market is down. And for big stuff, like a new car, you need a totally separate cash bucket for that.
Okay, so this is a big one. A rough guess about your spending, it just won't cut it for a plan that needs to last 30 years. You have to know your real number. The best way to do this? Track every dollar for a few months. Basically, you need to rehearse your retirement budget. That number becomes the foundation that your entire withdrawal strategy is built on. Without it, you're just flying blind.
You know, most people just look at their Social Security statement and they think, how do I get the biggest monthly check? Wrong goal. The real question is, which claiming age creates the least tax damage and gives you the most flexibility when you combine it with your withdrawal strategy? It's a one-time decision that has a lifetime impact, so getting this right is just massive.
All right, this brings us to our final upgrade, and honestly, it might be the most important, and it's definitely the most overlooked, especially for couples. This is about making sure the plan doesn't just work for the two of you, but for the one who will eventually be left behind.
We sit down with couples all the time where, one spouse just kind of mentally checks out of this part of the conversation. They figure everything will be fine. But the question they almost never ask is this crucial one. What happens to the tax bill when the surviving spouse suddenly has to file as a single person?
And this right here illustrates the problem perfectly. When you're a married couple, you get these nice, wide tax brackets. The moment one of you is gone, the survivor files as single, and those brackets get squeezed. All of a sudden, the exact same amount of retirement income can get pushed into a much, much higher tax bracket. This is the survivor's tax squeeze, and for a lot of people, it's the single clearest reason to be doing proactive Roth conversions while both spouses are still alive.
So, why do all this in secret? Well, it really boils down to this. It's not about hiding your retirement, it's about honoring it. It's about giving yourself the quiet space you need to get the structure right before the celebration starts. This pre-announcement window is a unique, one-time gift. You don't get it back. Use it wisely.
Now, if you want to see how a professional team actually puts all these pieces together in the real world, we've dropped a link down in the description to a totally free training that walks you through the whole process. It is absolutely worth a watch before you make any of these moves on your own.
If you found this useful, do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next explainer. And definitely let us know in the comments what complex topic we should break down next. P.S. We have mugs. Now go get these upgrades done, and we will see you next time when we talk about why your safe bond portfolio might just be a ticking time bomb.